Hello everyone, welcome to RPA Learners, and in this video we're going to see how to use read table from CSV and write table to CSV keywords in Robocorp. And firstly, the read table from CSV has different arguments. Let's go through it. The first one is the path. It is the path to the CSV file, which CSV file to read, and the header. If you want to read the first row of the values from the CSV file to make it as an header, you need to pass it as true. By default, it is false. And the columns, if you want set a number of columns from the CSV file, you can pass those column names in a list to this argument, and which is dialect. And there the format of the CSV file. What is the format of the CSV file? There are three different formats that you can use, which is Excel tab, and Unix. And the delimiters, if you want to mention a different delimiter, you can mention it by using this argument. And the column unknown, let's say we have 6 columns of data, and in it has only 4 rows. 4 columns has the header, and the 2 columns doesn't have the header. It will take the last column. We will see that in action, but in the encoding, it will by default it will use the system encoding by default. If you want to use a different encoding, you can use that by using this particular keyword, this particular argument. Sorry. And the next keyword is the write table to CSV, and it has the table as an argument, which table to write to the CSV, and the path or the file name of the CSV file, and the header if you want to write it as a header, or everything is data in the CSV file. And the dialect, the format of the CSV file as we discussed in the previous keyword, and the encoding, this is system encoding that we'll use. So let's go ahead and see how to use these keywords in Robocorp. Let me close this, and this is the input file that we have. If you see here, there are only 3 column names, and 2 of them doesn't have any column name, and it has content, right? Let me close this, and we are in this Visual Studio Code here. And this time what we will do, we are already invoked the library. Let's create a data table, right, to hold the value. After that, we will need to use read table from CSV keyword, and we need to provide the path of it. We have dt.csv, the file name is dt.csv. After that, now we don't use any header. Let's see like this. Let's save this, let's execute this. It will take every data inside the CSV file, and it will show us all the rows without any headers in it. So it will take the column indexes, which is 0, 1, 2, and 3. Let's wait for this to execute. After that, we will see how to use the headers and how to make it as true and get the values. After that, we will see the how to write this data table into a new CSV file. Yes, it is started. So it is completed. Let's open the log file. Let's refresh this, and if you see here, it has 3 rows of data, and these are the names: f name, name, and s name. If, let's say, and the argument is header, right? Let's make it as false. If you execute this, okay, it is executed. Let's refresh the log file. Okay, if you see here, we have 4 rows of data, and it is taking the column indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. So I said in the reverse part in the beginning, where by default it is taking it as a true and considering the first row as a header, but if we don't want to consider that as a header, you need to pass it as a false value. and let's write this to a new CSV file. For that we need to use write table to CSV file, and that data table which is dt, and you need to pass the path. Let's pass like this, right? Let's save this. Let's see the output of the new data table, which has 3 rows, and we have 5 columns, right? 2 of them doesn't have any headers and 3 has the headers. Now let's see what's the values it will provide us. Let's wait till it completes execution and we will open the CSV files to have a look. Now let's go ahead and refresh the log file. And it is successfully completed. It was able to write this. And let me, if I go here, and the dt1.csv is created and it has the data. Let's open this. It was some time. And if you see here, it has 0 1 2 3 4 and it doesn't have any columns, so it taken as indexes. Like, let me close this, let me delete this. Now we will make the headers as true and execute this again and see how many rows that we are getting. Right, let us delete this. Let's save. Let's go to Visual Studio. Let's execute this again. Now, right, we need to make this as true or we need to remove it simply and execute this. Let's wait for this to complete and then we will open the log file and for the execution. So it is completed. Now let's directly open the CSV file and see the output. And if you see here, the last column which is there without the header, that is present, but the column, let's open this as well so that we will have the comparison how it is taking if the row values exceeding the column names. If you see here, this is our input and this is our output, which the data table it is reading. If you don't have you are mentioning the first row as headers, and if you don't have headers for 2 columns, it will take the last column and it will use it, but it won't take the columns before that without any headers in it. So this is something that you need to remember. And that's it for this video, that how to use these 2 keywords and read the table and write it back to the CSV file. And if you like this video, please give it a like. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please consider subscribing for more videos. Thanks for watching.